Good morning. From dark and cloudy and gloomy Winnipeg. No sunrise this morning out there. Nope. Okay, now, did come back to the model table. There is going to be a rollback, and I got to talk about it a little bit. Now, when we do something out of photo etch, the reason we're doing it out of photo etch is because they're not capable yet of producing something out of plastic that will have the detail that you will get if you assemble a part out of photo etch, like you're going to see me do in the rollback. Now, where am I going with this? In other words, the photo etch has a lot of fine detail that is quite easily lost by using too much glue or too much solder. So when you're watching the rollback, and it could be you're one of these people that when you watch somebody's video, you go through it, and when you see something you want to talk about or comment on, you pause the video and you peck out the comment, and you haven't seen the end of the video. So I want to tell you right off the bat, I realize that I may have used a little bit too much solder, okay? and the grating that you probably can't even see there is kind of got filled in places. I saw that when I was editing out yesterday's rollback. And so yeah, you don't need to comment. I know. I didn't need to put that extra solder on it. It's not completely ruined or anything like that. I think once I get it painted. Now, painting, here's another thing. When we glue this part, it goes on the front, I believe it is. Which is the front here? Careful now. Okay, I believe that. Yeah, this piece gets glued on right on the front there. Now, when it's glued on there and it comes time to painting it, I'm going to have to be like super careful that I don't lose more of the detail than I've already got, because this very, very delicate grate work or whatever it's supposed to be, or slats or something like that on the platform on this thing, can very easily be filled in with paint. So I'm sort of waffling back and forth. Should I airbrush it? Now, I know if I want a really good job, I use the airbrush, but I want to see if I can do it I want to see if I can paint it and have it look acceptable. When it's in its case and you look at it, like normal distance, is it going to look acceptable? And I think I probably can. But we've been down that road so many times. Let's just roll back, and I just wanted to let you know you don't need to comment and tell me I used too much solder. Let's just roll back here. So okay, I checked in Carlo's book here this afternoon, and I was looking for what this piece of photo etch that we just put on here that you can probably hardly see. We will be putting this funnel on the rotator and having a close look later. We've got a couple of more pieces of photo etch that I'd like to deal with this evening if I can. Anyway, back to the book. I could not find this thing. Well, if you remember, we had to bend it up straight and then move those two little braces. Well, I have done that now, and they are in position. But what I want to do right now, and you remember I'm talking about how there are very few places that I can actually grab hold of it. So I can grab it here at the top, I think, okay, or on the sides here. So what I'm planning to do is drill a hole in the bottom here where it isn't going to be seen,
and then put this screw in so that I have something to to hold on to the thing with. Um, so here we go. I'm just checking to make sure. Yeah, I can hold it right here like this, and I can hold it like this. I just have to be careful that I don't catch those photo etch ladders with my fingers, because I probably wouldn't feel it and I'd end up breaking them off. Anyway, you can see I've got this on now, and we're just gonna, the hole doesn't have to be dead center, although it'd be nice if it was. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the part to the drill. You know what? I must have a dull bit there. Okay, now how am I going to put this down? I can't lay it on this side anymore. And well, I can sort of stand it up. I could kind of stand it up on here and sort of lay it on its side a little bit. Why don't I put this back? Okay, we know we can lay it on its back like this very carefully, because the ladder is recessed from here to here, so the ladder isn't going to be bumping anything. Sorry, Blue Jays. Okay, I'm going to have to, I must have used this bit on something and dulled it, because it should have been through that plastic a long time ago. I'm just going to quickly do this off camera. Okay, I drilled a small pilot hole, I guess you call it, and then I drilled a larger hole, but I was surprised even then. The bit did not seem to want to go through that plastic very well. However, if we're very careful here now, and watch how we hang on to this thing, I should be able to put a handle in it. I'll try and get it started straight here. Here we go. Now, this can't be seen because there is I think part of this blocks it off. So, and like I say, we're not going to see the bottom anyway. Now I've got a handle to hold on to this thing for when I paint it or whatever. Because we, as well as this piece, we've got another couple of pieces of photo etch that somehow have to go across the front here. And I do believe that they have to be soldered together. I haven't nipped them yet, so I'm not 100% sure of what they look like. Anyway, okay, we're going to want to put together a piece that's going to look something like this right here. It's going to mount on the front of the funnel, and it has to be made up out of a couple of pieces, A6 and A8. And here they are, A6 and A8. I'm just going to go ahead and nip those. Then we're going to see if we can't maybe solder it up. I think that's probably the best way to go. Now, I can well imagine there's people wondering, why aren't you using your new rolling tool that you made up yesterday, or whenever it was? Well, the reason being is that the radius on this is so large that, and not only that, because the rolling tool would only do one of these at a time. I want to do them both at the same time. Try and have them equal tension, if you know what I mean. Now the radius only has to go from right here, where this bending line is, to this bending line here. This other piece stays straight, which will go along the edge right here. So let's just give this a little try here. This may not work. So we'll just give it a little try here. Just not too much pressure. Well, that might have been too much. Okay, I guess I could always straighten that out. Let's, I wasn't pressing very hard. Yeah, I'm going to have to try and straighten that out evenly. I'm trying to turn it so that the camera will catch it. Now, is this going to be about right? Yeah, that's going to be pretty close. I don't know if I want to maybe try and straighten it just a little bit more. See, what I'd like to happen is that the part sort of sits together, and then we just let the solder wick its way into the joint. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend these end pieces up now at the folding joint. I don't know if I should be using Andy's bender for that, or just sort of hold it down and pull it up. I'm just looking as close as I can here. I just want to make sure that it's bending in the right place. It appears to be. Yeah, that seemed to go right. Okay. If I got them too much, I can always straighten it out. Yeah, those bending lines are quite helpful in this case. Okay, we're getting it. Whoops, get this out of here. We're getting this pretty close now here. Let me check the monitor. Am I still in the field of view? I guess I could come this way a little bit more. This is so delicate. All right. Where's my tweezers? Okay, we're getting pretty close there. It's going to take very little tweaking to get it to sit on there in the right place. Okay, I'm going to recompose somehow. I'll use a pair of self-locking tweezers, and they'll act as a heat sink as well as hold this thing up so that it's not going to set the paper on fire. Okay, let's see how many tries it takes to get this. The self-locking tweezer is going to act as a heat sink. And my plan is to solder one side Okay, now these are, doesn't matter which way these go on. If I put my finger up against it here. It should just sit on there. Yeah. Now, it has to come your way just a little bit. Like that. Now, my thinking is if I was to have had a little bit of solder on the corner here, and then applied the heat to it, then, because this side closest to you is almost perfect, the other side, this fence part, has to be bent out a little bit. But once we would get this soldered in place, You could do anything you want to this end, and this end is not going to come off. Anyway, that's the plan. I'll put the macro lens on. Now remember, I'm not worried about the other end. We're just going to try and get this one soldered in place. Now this first part of the radius isn't too bad, but when it gets to this other end, it curls back. Now I've got my iron set here at 350. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's let that, I was going to say let that cure. It's cured. It's not going to be moving now. So now I'm going to try and readjust this other end. I don't know if it will. Oh, it's not. You know what? I'm going to have to try and move. I don't know if I can. I want to try and move this whole thing just a little bit your way. Well, because when I pull this back, well, it almost stays where it's supposed to go. I think if let me put this down before I burn myself. Bend this out a little bit, like this. Ooh, I caught it with a tweezer and I bent it. Oh, this shouldn't be hot now. Now, if I could hold it down, maybe with the holder downer in the right place. I'm going to recompose here. I'm going to use the holder downer and hold it down. And then it should be just about right, even though it might be a little bit, this front rail might be a little bit proud of the edge, but that's all right. Okay, we've got our holder downer here in place. It's pushing down, basically. I'd like this to be back just a little bit here. Just doesn't want to stay. I'm pushing the whole thing out of sight now. Well, maybe if I was to hold it and apply some heat. Now I know that there's no way that this solder is gonna fill that gap. You know, it'd be nice if it would, but it won't. And this one here, it'll probably melt and maybe run that way just a little bit. We'll see what happens. It'll get as far as the heat sink anyway, and then it'll quit. So I'm thinking maybe if I was to come at it with this end of the pointer and just sort of hold it and apply the heat. Now let's just see what would happen. Okay, I'm set at 350 here. You'll forgive me if I don't talk at the same time. Okay, that's not the neatest soldering job, and I don't think it wicked its way right to the back there underneath the holder downer. Maybe I'll see if I can get a little dollop of I should really check my monitor, make sure I haven't knocked everything out of skew here. Why can't I get that off? One of the viewers was suggesting put the flux on the part and then put a little bit of solder on the tip of the soldering iron and let it wick in. I've done that before too. I'll get this, don't worry. Come on. Maybe I won't. There we go. There. It's secure now. Okay, I think I'm going to call it quits here and just sort of carefully disassemble my apparatus here so I don't accidentally catch anything on it. There we go. This holder downer, we've got a lot of use out of that since we made it back in the Bismarck days, haven't we? All right, we will take a closer look at this once it's all mounted on the part here. Oh, by the way, this is what I'm using to hold the head of the screw in. It just sort of plugs in. I still got to be careful though. Okay, yeah, I think we're about done here. So, all being well, we'll be seeing you in the morning. Well, it is morning. It is a rainy morning, but it is morning. And if we follow the arrows all the way to the funnel, it looks like it comes down. Well, if you count this as the first ring, so it'd be 1, 2, 3. It fastens onto right here. 1, 2, 3. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know how this is going to go. Is the photo etch ladder that I glued on here going to be in the way? I think that the... Will I get it here? Very slowly and very carefully here. Now, I think that it's going to be straddled by these two things here, this one and this one. Let's just lay it on there. Instead of talking about it, let's recompose here. Grab it very gently. I might have to move the camera out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. But that's going to be the general idea, only straighter. Now this is just sort of a dry run here. Now these these vent pipes that are running up the front of the smokestack, they're not symmetrical, if you know what I mean. The center of the smokestack is the ladder is on the seam, and that's pretty much the center. Now I think that something like that is probably going to be all right. I wonder if it would fit better if it was just below. Would it fit a little bit better like that? Yes, that fits more square on the front. In other words, the angle this way is better. I keep forgetting the macro lens is on. You can't see my hand gestures. Now, I don't know. Maybe not, because if I have it back here like this, come on, I had it. Okay, maybe I'll use something else to maneuver it here. Now maybe it doesn't need any more maneuvering, but this one here and this one here, they're not all the way down, and this is not the sort of thing that you can bend into shape. So I'm thinking that it just might not be real strong that way. And yet, on the other hand, if it's glued on the sides here, and on the other side back here, it might be okay. Yeah, it might be okay like that. And it does look better from my perspective. Otherwise, it's sort of, if I have it the other way, back the way it was, back like this, and so that you can, well, you can't get these ones all the way down onto the front of the funnel. Yeah, so we're just going to have to leave it the way it is, or was, like this. That actually is going to be all right. And it does appear to be centered with the center line, which is, you might not be able to see it too clearly, but this is the center line right here. And the ladder is basically right on the center line. Maybe it's a smidgen more to your right than it should be, but it would only be a very small smidgen. Okay, I'm using the other end of the holder downer now. And this is the Bob Smith quick setting CA glue. Okay, I'm pretty sure that when that cures, it will be safe to remove the holder down or swing it around and do the same on the other side. I'll give it about, I don't know if I should use the Insta-Set here or not. See, I'm reluctant to use the Insta-Set because I don't think I get as strong a connection or weld or whatever you want to call it as if you just let it slowly cure naturally. Maybe if I blow on it with my rubber hose. Which took me a moment here to find. I think the moisture from my breath helps to set up the curing chemical reaction. I got a feeling that that's probably okay now. Okay, let's carefully take this off and swing everything around. I know that probably didn't look careful, but it was. Okay, I don't think we're going to need the holder downer right now. I'm a little bit trembly this morning. There. That's getting it. Just give it one more.
Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that cure, and then we'll reinforce it with the medium CA. Yeah, because this thing, even when I'm working with the easy line, the way it is right now, it could probably easily be broken off. So now, today is grocery day. I have to go get groceries. So I'm going to call it quits for today's episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.